Hi, this is Willow Creek Homestead. I'm Jonah.
And I'm Trish.
We were challenged recently by Art and Homesteading and Jim's In-Town Gardening.
Both great channels. Check them out.
Both great channels to do 30 random facts about us. So here we go.
Our second child was born in our living room in a fishy pool.
Much like this pond, but much smaller.
And cleaner.
And cleaner. And I actually grabbed her as she came out and brought her up out of the water. It was a really neat experience. We did have a midwife there that was helping us.
And we didn't know the gender. And so I thought she was a boy just from my own feelings. And Jonah put her in my arms and I was holding her and I was like, wait, what are you? It's a girl!
I like to bow hunt. The first year I went bow hunting, I shot my first deer. It was a 2-point buck, and it was a 70-yard shot up a hill. I just did a Hail Mary and sliced its throat. It didn't make it more than 10 yards before it dropped.
After high school, I went into the medical field. I went and got my CNA. I worked in a nursing home for a brief period of time and a hospital, and then I ended my career, as you want to call it, working as a home health care CNA. I really enjoyed working with people. It was a hard profession to be in with gas prices skyrocketing, so I got out of that, and I've been blessed to be a stay-at-home mom. I have an autoimmune disorder that is not fun. I was diagnosed with low thyroid about 13 years ago, and from that I have gotten Hashimoto's. Sounds like some Chinese, Japanese word, I don't know, Hashimoto's. So it's an autoimmune disorder. It affects everybody very differently. It comes, for me, in all kinds of food allergies, this being one of them. This causes me all kinds of issues. Tomatoes, nightshade vegetables, other things. So I have some insane food allergies.
While we're talking about food, I can eat anything I want. And I really like to cook. I really enjoy cooking and just experimenting with different flavors, and I don't really particularly have to follow a recipe. I like to just wing it sometimes, most of the time. So, love food. I like to tease, and when I was younger, I kind of would take it a little too far sometimes. For instance, one time, to tease a girl that I liked, because that's what boys do, they tease girls that they like, I took everything out of her car at high school. I took the rear seat out, I took the carpets out, I took the hubcaps off, I took anything I could get out of the car, and drove it all the way down to her house and dumped it on her driveway. And needless to say, that was going a little too far. And I've been married to that girl for 16 years.
I love to crochet. A friend of mine taught me 3 or 4 years ago, and I've enjoyed crafting. I am not a crafter. I don't really enjoy it, but I do enjoy some yarn, a hook, and a good pattern. We do take custom orders on Crochet Corner on Facebook. Check us out. I have a significant fear of large bodies of water and what is in them. So as a kid, I would, even in a swimming pool, I would be terrified that something was going to come eat me. And I realized it's a swimming pool. Nothing lives in there other than people swimming in the pool. I grew up going to Lake Powell, and I just, not knowing what's under you freaks me out. If I ever get in the ocean, I know I'll get eaten by a shark. It just will happen. So that's why we live in the desert. One of our favorite family activities is to go camping.
I'm a licensed ham radio operator. Have been for, at least 6 years now. I built this J-pole antenna with a buddy of mine years ago. And really enjoy the hobby and the emergency preparedness aspect of it. My call sign is Kilo Echo 7 Zulu Alpha Zulu, K7ZAZ. I used to be a member of a motorcycle club called the Green Knights. It's a military motorcycle club, and I have not served in the armed forces, but there is provision for civil service employees, people that work for the Department of Defense, which I do. And I had a lot of fun being a part of that club, and got out because it got a little too serious for me and became more of a gang than a club, in my opinion. But my road name was Doc. They gave that to me when they found out that I delivered Sarah in the bathtub. And I served as the chaplain and web designer. I also had a significant role in the design of the patch.
We used to be gamers.
Video gamers. We used to play video games together back when we had more time.
Yes.
We played things like League of Legends, Diablo,
Titan Quest.
Anything where we could cooperatively play together, we would play together and had a lot of fun doing it.
We played Magic cards for a little bit of time, but the more mouths that we had as far as children and animals kind of takes up your time.
It does.
I have 3 girls, and I hate to do hair. So this is a rare occurrence that her hair is braided and brushed. As you'll see in a lot of our videos, it's not ever braided or brushed. So I don't like to do hair. I've had 6 total knee surgeries. 4 were during my high school years, and 2 about a year and a half ago. I had both knees replaced 4 weeks apart. That was fun, and this hurts.
When I was a kid, it was my dream to be a mountain man, and I've got a little ways to go, but I'm working on it. I really enjoy painting and drawing. I took art classes throughout high school and used to paint a lot. I haven't done it for a few years. Time and other things have gotten in the way, but it's something that I intend to pick up doing again. And here's one of the paintings that I've done. Most of mine have been lost throughout the shuffles of moves. Right after we got married, we moved into a trailer home that was built in the 1950s, and that was a bad year for trailer homes. It was quite run down and very drafty, if I remember right.
Yes, but I loved it. It had some characteristics that were both rustic and not so rustic.
They were good times. We didn't stay there too long, but there's a part of me that often thinks going back down to something simple like that would be appealing.
Yes. I grew up camping and fishing, and I could put a worm on a hook like anybody's business. I was pretty good at it. I was the designated fish gutter. I loved it until my uncle had let his fish sit a little too long without being gutted, and he had me gut it, and that ruined me. It stunk. I have struggled to gut a fish since. I was born with very strawberry red hair. I used to get called Little Orphan Annie. My mom would give me a perm. I had a little Annie haircut, and I was red, and I was Little Orphan Annie. Depending on who you talk to, they say I have red hair now, or they say I have blonde hair. I hear it from all sides of people. Oh, where'd you get your beautiful red hair? Or, you don't have red hair. Where did your daughter get red hair? So, just kind of perspective. Do I have red hair? Don't I have red hair? Who knows?
I'm left-handed, and I like to write in cursive. I think it's a dying art, and I'm not saying I'm good at it. I just like to do it. The first job I had after I got married was a utility locator. I would crawl in manholes and locate and mark and paint on the ground where power, water, and sewer lines ran.
My favorite music artist is John Denver. Yes, John Denver. There is a reason for that. Growing up, we would camp a lot, like I said, and we would listen to his beautiful music as we drove through the windy dirt roads, watching the deer come through the mountains and smelling that air. So when I hear his music, it just speaks to me. It's the mountains, my happy place. I love good old Rocky Mountain High. I owned and ran my own singing telegram business. I specialized in being the Grim Reaper and the rapping Eminem. He delivered our fourth baby.
And one of these. A tub not much different than this.
Which was not the plan, I may add. We had a different plan in mind, but everything progressed very quickly. Jonah had given one of the kids a bath that morning, and so it was very warm. So I got in there, and just the tub was warm, and I was like, this is nice. And midwife was about 20 minutes behind us. The very next door neighbor who had some birthing experience was about 2 minutes behind the birth, and it was just the three of us in the bathroom in a bathtub.
With no water, I caught the baby before it hit the tub and was like, what do I do?
And I was like, I'm done. I'm going to relax. And he's just sitting there with the baby. I'm like, well, then give her to me. Yeah. So it was a great experience, really neat. It was not planned that way, but we were really blessed that it worked out as well as it did.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
No.
So a couple years ago, I had a motorcycle accident and was driving down a road going about 30 miles an hour is all with my brother-in-law, Casey. And I hit a patch of gravel and the bike slid out from under me and then suddenly caught traction again and flipped me, so high-sided. And I broke both bones in my forearm. I've got a scar going down this side and a scar right here, and I was wearing a helmet at the time. I was wearing all my gear. I had gloves, I had a leather jacket on, and this was the only part of me that got hurt that I can remember. But I know that if I wasn't wearing my helmet, I probably would not be here today. There's a good chance, I'll say anyway, because the first thing that hit the ground was my arm, and then my head and chest on top of that. That's what crushed it. My head hit the ground and my chest hit my arm, and I slid, 10, 15 feet, and I was only going 30 miles an hour. So wear your helmet gear, wear your motorcycle gear. I have a dream to be a horse trainer someday. I love working with horses. We had a horse, we named him Gambit. He was an older horse when we bought him, and he needed a lot of work, so I did a lot of research on working with horses. One of my favorite documentaries is called Buck. You should check it out. It's about a horse whisperer. And two of my favorite books, Think Harmony with Horses by Ray Hunt, and True Horsemanship Through Feel by Bill Dorrance. And these I consider my mentors on working with horses, and I hope to do that someday, and if I could retire right now and just work with horses, I would.
I love the rain. Love it! As a kid, I would love to go out and walk with an umbrella. I just love the summer rain is amazing. This is spring rain, it's cold, but I love summer rain. I love to sing. I was in choirs all through high school. I went to state my junior year, and I love singing. I can't read music worth a darn, but I sure love to sing, and I enjoy every opportunity that I can.
I like Legos. I've liked them since I was a little kid, and I'd go over to my grandma's house and she had Legos, and I just can't give them up. Especially Star Wars Legos. I like the building part of it, doing something with my hands and trying to figure out where all the pieces go together, and then being creative later on and building my own stuff. Which leads me to my next random fact. I studied electronic engineering for a couple of years and learned a lot about problem solving, and a lot of those skills that I learned then I have used throughout my life and use every day at my career job, my 9-to-5 job, and especially on the homesteading. Invaluable skills to learn, problem solving. So I hope you enjoyed those 30 random facts, and we appreciate the challenge that we received to do them. We had a lot of fun doing them, and as part of this challenge you shout out 5 other channels, and here are our channels.
Homesteading with the Cases. So they're a fun couple back east, and they are on quite a few acres from what my memory is serving, and they just got a mule named John, and they've just started to show how they're training him. So great channel, check them out, great people. Next would be Diversified Acres Homestead. They're a great family. A few years ago he sustained an injury which made him have to put his homestead on hold and had to sell off a lot of his animals. So they are rebuilding. They have a lot of knowledge on pigs and on how to process pigs, and they've given us some great suggestions. So check them out. I do believe they are building a greenhouse out of PVC pipe. Next would be Nonetheless Off-Grid Homestead. They're a great family here in Idaho. We found them from the Doug and Stacy Homestead Homies shout out. Since they were in Idaho, we thought, oh, that's fun, check them out. So they've got some great content. They're new. Let's all head on over there and support them.
And another channel, Jameson Adventure. We found them through the Justin Rhodes channel. He's the one that did the bus conversion for the Rhodes and their Great American Farm Tour. They live out of a converted school bus. Great people, and I enjoy watching their content. And the other channel we want to shout out is Red Poppy Ranch. Red Poppy Ranch, they're here in Idaho as well. And he came down and did an interview with us about homeschooling. So run over there and check out his channel and check that out if you haven't already. But they're building an off-grid home right now, and he does a lot of DIY stuff. Great guy, and some really good content. So we challenged these channels to do 30 random facts. I hope they all accept the challenge, and we'll be looking forward to watching what they put out.
And if you 5 channels have already been shouted out, take this as a form of flattery that we want to know your 30 random things.
Thanks for watching.